speaks. The Sigma male walks through life like a shadow with weight, quiet, focused, and calculated. He's not in your face, not seeking attention, but his presence is undeniable. Unlike alpha males who dominate the room, or betas who follow the crowd, the Sigma doesn't play the game at all. He rewrites the rules. He operates on a frequency that's invisible to most, but impossible to ignore once triggered. He doesn't thrive on drama or chaos, but when pushed to his limits, he transforms into something unrecognizable, cold, precise, and unrelenting. It's not about shouting matches or emotional outbursts, it's about control of the situation, of the outcome, and most importantly, of himself. In psychological terms, Sigmas exhibit high levels of intrapersonal intelligence and emotional regulation. This allows them to assess threats, betrayals, or manipulations with stoic clarity and respond in ways that are swift, final, and often shocking. Going full savage mode doesn't mean he becomes violent. It means he enforces boundaries with surgical accuracy. He may cut off a manipulative friend without a word, dismantle toxic relationships like removing bad code from his life script, or walk away from situations most men cling to. Why? Because a Sigma male is not afraid of solitude, nor is he attached to validation. His silence is not weakness, it's observation. And when he acts, it's not for applause, it's for alignment. When the world pushes, the Sigma doesn't push back. He disappears, recalculates, and returns not to prove a point, but to prove he never needed to. This is what happens when the man who never needed the world decides to show the world why. This is what happens when a Sigma male goes full savage mode. Number 1, the world he walks in. The modern world is built on volume. Likes, views, followers, trends. The louder someone is, the more they're rewarded. In this age of constant noise, where people shout to be heard and post to be validated, the Sigma male moves in the opposite direction. He thrives in silence, not because he lacks power, but because he understands it. While society runs in circles chasing approval, the Sigma male operates from the sidelines, not out of fear or insecurity, but from a place of quiet mastery. His detachment isn't a flaw, it's a form of wisdom. In psychology, emotional detachment can be a healthy coping mechanism. It allows one to remain grounded, rational, and unaffected by the chaos of others. The Sigma doesn't avoid the world. He studies it. He sees the illusion of popularity, the shallowness of trends, the emptiness of attention-seeking. Society often mistakes his silence for submission. They assume if he isn't playing the power games, he must be powerless, but that's where they're wrong. His silence is not compliance, it's calculation. Detachment for the Sigma is not indifference, it's protection. He doesn't follow the crowd because he understands where the crowd is being led into distraction, conformity, and mediocrity. But when society pushes too far, when betrayal, disrespect, or manipulation crosses in a threshold, he doesn't react like the average man. He doesn't explode, post a rant, or seek petty revenge. He simply makes a move. Swift, cold, decisive. That's when the silent observer becomes the silent executor. He doesn't act out of emotion, he acts with intention. This trait mirrors the strategic temperament of a chess master, always several moves ahead, never revealing his plan until it's too late. He's not interested in revenge, he's interested in correction. That might mean removing people from his life, changing direction without explanation, or cutting ties with systems that no longer serve him. It's not drama, it's discipline. And discipline in its truest form is a kind of quiet strength. The Sigma male understands that sometimes the loudest message is spoken through action, not words. In a world obsessed with being seen, he chooses to be effective. While others burn themselves out trying to fit in or rise up the social ladder, the Sigma quietly builds a life on his own terms, unshaken, unnoticed, and ultimately undeniable. Number 2, the core within. The Sigma male's mind is a fortress, unyielding, impenetrable, and carved from years of solitude, silent reflection, and relentless self-discipline. He wasn't born this way. Life forged him. Every rejection didn't break him, it reinforced his inner walls. Every setback wasn't a failure, it was a sharpening stone. While others seek validation through noise, the Sigma male thrives in silence. When he goes savage, it's not a reckless outburst or emotional meltdown. It's a precise, controlled withdrawal, a cold, calculated removal of tolerance for nonsense, betrayal, or disrespect. He doesn't yell to prove his point, he exits. And when he leaves, he takes with him his energy, his loyalty, and the rare value he brought to the table. You don't get a second plea for loyalty from him. He doesn't negotiate with disloyalty. He replaces it with silence, a language that speaks louder than any confrontation. Psychologically, Sigmas often rank high in traits such as introversion, emotional independence, and strategic thinking, qualities linked to the INTJ or ISTP personality types in the Myers-Briggs system. They're not emotionally detached, but emotionally efficient. Emotion isn't a weakness in their world. It's a tool used sparingly, wisely. And when a Sigma enters savage mode, it's not vengeance, it's clarity. He strips away distractions, fake friendships, shallow drama, and everything that doesn't serve his purpose. It's minimalist masculinity at its peak. What aligns with his mission remains. What doesn't vanishes without fanfare. His coldness isn't cruelty, it's the consequence of misplaced trust. He was warm once, open, kind, even vulnerable, but some warmed their hands at his fire, only to set that same flame against him. That betrayal didn't ruin him, it refined him. Now the fire still burns, but behind stone walls and a watchful gatekeeper. Inside, he isn't bitter. He's simply done with people who only show up when they need him. Done explaining himself to those who never cared to understand. Done offering parts of himself to those who only wanted to take. The savage Sigma isn't dangerous because he's angry, he's dangerous because he's clear. And when a man becomes that clear about who he is and what he will no longer accept, he becomes unstoppable. His silence becomes a boundary, his absence becomes a message. His focus becomes lethal. This isn't about revenge, it's about evolution. Number 3, the clash of worlds. The savage Sigma male doesn't explode, he evaporates. In a world obsessed with noise, dominance, and attention, the Sigma operates differently, silently, strategically, and with unnerving calm. When he withdraws, it's not to provoke a reaction, but to protect his energy. And in that cold retreat, the entire social dynamic begins to unravel. The alpha, who thrives on challenges and chest-thumping confrontation, is left baffled by the Sigma's sheer indifference. He sees the lack of response not as neutrality, but as a challenge to his dominance. The beta, reliant on affirmation and social approval, feels invisible and unworthy. Manipulators, those who rely on emotional bait, are left exposed when the Sigma refuses to play. And women who thought emotional games gave them leverage suddenly find themselves staring into an emotional abyss. The Sigma doesn't argue, shout, or slam doors. He simply vanishes, and his silence is deafening. That disappearance isn't a tantrum, it's a boundary, a permanent one. Psychologically, this behavior ties closely to what's known as or methods often used by those who have mastered emotional regulation. Sigma males by nature are introspective and self-reliant. They don't react impulsively, they calculate. Cutting someone off isn't an act of anger, but of self-respect. He isn't punishing you, he's protecting himself. And once he decides that someone has violated his core values or disrespected his essence, there's no warning shot. He's just gone, emotionally detached, spiritually distant, mentally unreachable. This isn't a power move, it's a survival instinct. When a Sigma enters savage mode, his usual quiet strength turns impenetrable. His boundaries aren't drawn in sand, they're carved in stone. And if you try to cross them, you'll find yourself alone, facing a version of him you never saw coming. The truth is, he doesn't need to destroy anyone. He lets their own actions do the work. The Sigma male knows this. Real power isn't in dominating others, but in mastering oneself. And once he's done with you, there's no comeback story, not because he hates you, but because he loves his peace more than your presence. That's the silent savagery of a Sigma male. Number 4, the rise of the lone wolf. Savage mode isn't chaos, it's clarity. It's not about rage, revenge, or emotional retaliation. For the Sigma male, going savage doesn't mean becoming unhinged, it means becoming unstoppable. While the world expects fireworks, noise, and dramatic displays of defiance, the Sigma takes a different route. He doesn't explode, he evolves. When life throws its harshest punches, others might rant, crumble, or seek attention. But the Sigma channels that storm inward, converting every wound into fuel. He hits the gym with a vengeance, not to show off, but to sharpen his mind-body connection. He disappears into books, business strategies, and self-discipline, not for applause, but for precision. He upgrades silently because he understands something most don't. The loudest man in the room is usually the weakest. The Sigma doesn't flaunt progress, he it. Every rejection, betrayal, or setback becomes a stepping stone. He doesn't post his grind on social media. He doesn't need cheers, likes, or validation. What he becomes in private, the world eventually cannot ignore. This is the essence of savage mode, the ruthless commitment to mastery without needing recognition. Psychology supports this mindset. Studies show that intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from within, leads to more sustained success than chasing external approval. In savage mode, the Sigma doesn't seek to destroy others, that's too easy. He aims higher, to destroy every limit placed on him by fear, society, and self-doubt. And when he breaks those chains, he gains the rarest kind of freedom. Not freedom responsibility, but freedom. He no longer needs the world's validation, affection, or permission. That is true power. It's not about vengeance. It's not about proving others wrong. It's about victory, earned in silence, sealed in solitude. That's what makes the Sigma's savage mode terrifyingly beautiful. Not the chaos he causes, but the order he forges in himself. He becomes the man no one can control, no one can break, and no one can replace. And number 5, the precision of his strike. The savage Sigma doesn't throw punches, he throws outcomes. He's not interested in theatrics or emotional outbursts. Every move he makes is calculated, quiet, and precise, like a master strategist in a chess game, already 10 steps ahead before his opponent even realizes the game has begun. The Sigma male operates on an internal code built on self-respect, independence, and clarity. When he's disrespected or betrayed, he doesn't explode, he exposes. He doesn't lash out to prove a point, he simply lets the truth unveil itself. A liar's narrative begins to unravel, a manipulator's strings snap, a fake friend's mask slips, and the Sigma watches, detached yet aware, as everything falls into place exactly as he predicted. He doesn't need a spotlight to get even, his silence is louder than any confrontation. If you missed the warning signs, that was your mistake. The first sign was silence, an uncomfortable quiet that speaks volumes. The second was distance, both emotional and physical. And the third was disappearance, his complete withdrawal from your life like you were never there. This isn't drama, it's design. Sigma males don't give second chances after the line is crossed. And when they walk away, it's not to punish you, it's to protect their peace. There's no yelling, no social media rants, and no dramatic speeches. There's only absence. And in that absence lies a powerful message. You are never indispensable. You don't get a return ticket. When a Sigma leaves, he doesn't leave scars. He leaves lessons etched into your memory, not with pain, but with impact. Psychologically, this kind of response aligns with the traits of high self-differentiation, a concept in emotional intelligence where a person can remain calm and maintain their values under pressure. The Sigma's detachment isn't cold, it's controlled. It's a sign of emotional discipline, not emotional absence. In a world that rewards loud gestures, the Sigma male's power comes from his restraint. His revenge is not loud, messy, or public, it's permanent. Because for a Sigma, the ultimate victory isn't in defeating someone, it's in walking away unaffected, leaving the other person to confront their own actions. That's what makes him dangerous, not his wrath, but his refusal to engage in anything beneath him. When he cuts ties, it's surgical, clean, final, and unforgettable. Number 6, the weapon of indifference. People expect anger. They expect shouting, slamming doors, wild arguments, and emotional explosions. That's the script they know, the chaos they crave. But what throws them off, what truly shocks and disarms them, is indifference. That cold silence, that calm stare, that complete emotional detachment. It's not weakness, it's strategy. It's the Sigma male at his most dangerous. While most people react impulsively when provoked, the Sigma operates from a place of inner stillness. His greatest act of power isn't vengeance, it's neutrality. He doesn't let other people's drama penetrate his peace. You insult him, he doesn't retaliate, he observes. You betray him, he doesn't lash out. He nods, lets go, and disappears. You try to push his buttons, hoping for a reaction, but get only stillness in return. That's what makes him savage. Psychology confirms this behavior as a sign of high emotional intelligence. The ability to self-regulate, to delay gratification, and to detach from toxic patterns is the foundation of stoic strength. The Sigma male has mastered this. He's not emotionless, he just doesn't allow emotions to dominate him. His validation doesn't come from external approval. He's self-anchored, rooted in personal values and internal goals. This is not only rare, it's threatening to those who rely on manipulation, guilt, or chaos to control others. When a Sigma doesn't engage, it strips their power away. He becomes immune to drama, toxic cycles, and emotional traps. This isn't coldness, it's clarity. In fact, neuroscientists have found that people who cultivate calm under pressure activate areas of the brain associated with focus and long-term decision-making rather than fight or flight. So when the Sigma male refuses to feed the fire, he's not suppressing emotion, he's channeling it. That's why he's untouchable. He can feel everything but chooses to act on almost nothing. This restraint isn't weakness, it's dominance. The loudest man in the room may appear powerful, but the quiet one who doesn't flinch, he owns the room. And in that silence, in that composed smile after betrayal, the Sigma male communicates something that words never could. You don't control me, you never did. Number 7, the exile becomes a throne. When a Sigma male vanishes, people often assume he's running from something. But the truth is, he's not hiding, he's ascending. Solitude is his sanctuary, his forge, where the raw material of thought is shaped into something sharper and stronger. When the world becomes too noisy with gossip, too fake with shallow validation, or too hostile with constant judgment, the Sigma doesn't retaliate. He retreats into silence. But this isn't a retreat of weakness. It's a strategic withdrawal, like a warrior sharpening his sword in the dark. Science shows that solitude isn't harmful when chosen. It enhances creativity, boosts mental clarity, and fosters emotional regulation. And Sigma males understand this instinctively. While the masses are caught in an endless scroll of distraction and dopamine hits, he's resetting his inner compass. He's reflecting on his next mission. He's redefining his goals. It could be a shift in financial strategy, a personal transformation, or a deeper spiritual alignment. His solitude becomes the launch pad for reinvention. And by the time people start to wonder where he's gone, it's too late. He's already miles ahead, mentally sharper, emotionally balanced, and often financially upgraded. Studies in behavioral psychology even suggest that intentional isolation can enhance focus and goal attainment. Traits Sigma males use to stay ahead of the curve. He doesn't need to announce his transformation. The results speak for themselves. So when a Sigma vanishes, don't be fooled into thinking he's lost. He's simply gone where few dare to go, inward. And in that silence, he's building, evolving, becoming. What looks like disappearance is actually a silent evolution, one that sets him apart not just from the noise, but from every man who's afraid of it. Number 8, the unseen legacy. The savage Sigma doesn't chase legacy, he becomes it. This isn't just a poetic idea, it's a way of life rooted in the powerful psychology of high-functioning lone wolves. Unlike traditional alpha personalities who dominate through external displays of power, or beta males who seek approval through conformity, the Sigma male carves his own path with quiet intensity. He doesn't crave validation or applause. He leaves behind no drama, no dependency, no trail of chaos, only results. In a world obsessed with noise, his silence is more deafening than any shout. While others trend, perform, or hustle for attention, the Sigma fades into the background, yet his absence leaves a void. His words, spoken with calculated intent, echo long after he's exited the scene. There's a reason this archetype resonates in culture, from Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name to Keanu Reeves' John Wick. These men don't seek fame, they become legends because they embody something eternal, mastery without ego, purpose without showmanship. Their discipline and self-sufficiency set them apart. They understand that true impact doesn't require an audience, it requires integrity. The savage Sigma has nothing left to prove. He's not playing a game of image or influence, he's playing for evolution. And when that inner switch flips, when his identity is no longer tied to external validation, that's when his real power begins. People call it cold, but he calls it clarity. Because clarity cuts deeper than emotion ever could. He sees the world without illusion, stripped of noise and distractions. That's why those who once doubted him now find themselves studying him, trying to understand how someone could walk away from everything, yet still hold the upper hand. He never needed a stage because he the message. His life becomes a mirror that reflects truth back at a world still addicted to pretense. In the end, the savage Sigma doesn't need to be remembered. He simply becomes unforgettable. So when the Sigma male goes full savage, it's not a loud declaration or a chest-thumping spectacle. It's a quiet revolution, deep within him and radiating silently outward. Unlike the alpha who charges forward with dominance, the Sigma doesn't need validation or applause. His transformation is surgical, not emotional. It's the product of long periods of observation, strategic withdrawal, and intense self-discipline. Psychologically, this shift aligns with Carl Jung's concept of the lone wolf archetype, a man who integrates both his shadow and strength without external approval. When a Sigma has nothing left to lose, he becomes dangerously focused. No more people-pleasing, no more explaining, just decisive action. And that unnerves everyone around him. Why? Because society is conditioned to fear what it can't predict. His silence, that wasn't weakness. It was sharpening. It was resilience being forged in solitude. When he finally moves, he doesn't seek to impress. He aims to evolve. He cuts ties, rewrites his path, and builds in silence. And when the world finally notices, it's too late to stop him. The savage mode of a Sigma isn't chaos, it's clarity, precision, and purpose unleashed. Stay curious, stay dangerous, stay Sigma.
What happens when a Sigma male goes full savage mode? Whoever stops looking to others for approval is the most powerful. Every Sigma male experiences a turning point in his journey, not out of retaliation or rage, but rather from an insatiable desire to realize his full potential. When that time comes, it's calm, purposeful, and unstoppable, not loud or theatrical. Most people mistake a Sigma's silence for weakness and his patience for submission, but what they fail to see is that he's never passive. He's simply waiting for the right moment, and when it arrives, he moves with calculated precision. No need for explanations. No need for justifications. When a Sigma male decides it's time to act, everything else fades into the background. He's not just eliminating distractions. He's removing anything that doesn't align with his vision. This isn't about chaos or rage. It's about clarity and control. A Sigma male in savage mode is a force of nature, untouchable, unstoppable, and fiercely focused on what matters. He doesn't waste energy fighting battles that don't matter. He fights only when it's necessary, and he fights to win. If you've ever felt like the world doesn't fully recognize your worth, if you've ever held back your power to avoid rocking the boat, then understand. There comes a time when you stop explaining and start acting. You stop letting others dictate your pace and start living on your own terms. So, if you're ready to see what happens when a Sigma male stops holding back, stick around. It's time to step into your power, and it's time to move differently. Number 1. The moment he decides enough is enough. Every Sigma male reaches a breaking point, a defining moment when he steps away from the expectations of society and chooses to live on his own terms. It's not a sudden impulse or a moment of rebellion. Rather, it's the result of years of silent observation, deep introspection, and a growing realization that the world rewards conformity while punishing authenticity. For many Sigmas, this moment comes after enduring a life of mediocrity, where people settle for less, pretend to be something they're not, and engage in surface-level interactions with no real depth. He sees through the illusion. He recognizes the hypocrisy. And instead of continuing to play a game that's rigged against him, he flips the board over and walks away. When a Sigma male reaches this breaking point, his mindset shifts completely. No more compromises. No more time wasted on trivial distractions. No more suppressing his nature just to fit in. It's a transformation that can be unsettling for those around him. Friends, family, and colleagues notice a change, but they can't quite put their finger on it. His presence becomes more intense, his words more deliberate, and his actions more calculated. This is when he goes full savage mode. And once that happens, the game changes. The power of cutting through the noise. One of the most striking characteristics of a Sigma male in this state is his ability to cut through the noise like a razor-sharp blade. He stops engaging in pointless small talk. He refuses to waste time on social obligations that have no real value. Instead, he focuses on things that truly matter. His goals, his passions, his personal growth. Psychologically, this is a powerful shift. Studies in behavioral psychology suggest that people who eliminate distractions and focus on deep work achieve higher levels of productivity, creativity. The Sigma embraces this principle fully. He removes anything that doesn't serve his purpose. Fake friends, gone. Mindless entertainment, cut. Toxic relationships, This is why Sigmas often become incredibly successful in their fields. They develop an almost monastic dedication to their craft. Their ambition isn't fueled by external validation, but by an internal drive to master their chosen pursuits, an unshakable focus. With every unnecessary distraction removed, a Sigma male's focus becomes unshakable. He's no longer burdened by societal pressures, office politics, or social hierarchies. He operates on a different level, one where clarity of purpose dictates every move. This level of focus is what separates high achievers from the rest. According to neuroscience research, deep focus triggers a state of flow, a condition where people perform at their peak potential. Elite athletes, top-level entrepreneurs, and master artists all rely on this ability. The Sigma male, once he reaches his breaking point, enters this state with ease. A crystal clear vision. With newfound mental clarity, a Sigma male sees the world differently. He no longer asks, "What should I do to fit in?" Instead, he asks, "What do I truly want?" His vision becomes clear, whether that means building his own business, mastering a skill, or creating a life of absolute freedom. And here's the truth. Once a Sigma reaches this stage, he's done playing by society's rules. From this point on, he creates his own. Number 2. The power of detachment. A Sigma male in savage mode is like a ghost in the social battlefield, present, aware, but completely untouchable. He moves through life like a chess grandmaster, always 2 steps ahead, anticipating every play before it happens. His secret? Emotional detachment, self-mastery, and a relentless focus on his own path. 1. Emotionally untouchable. The art of difference. Most people are slaves to their emotions. They react impulsively to criticism, seek validation from others, and crumble under pressure. But not the Sigma male. In savage mode, he has full control over his emotions. He doesn't let negativity pierce his armor because he understands a fundamental truth. Emotions are tools. Imagine a scenario where someone tries to provoke him, an insult, a manipulative tactic, or an emotional guilt trip. The typical person reacts defensively, getting drawn into unnecessary drama. He simply shrugs it off. His silence is his power, and his lack of reaction frustrates manipulators more than any argument ever could. Psychologically, this is rooted in Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches detachment from external influences. By embracing Stoic principles, the Sigma male maintains an impenetrable emotional shield. This makes him impossible to control, which, in turn, gives him ultimate dominance in social interactions. Monster of mental warfare. In a world full of deception, the Sigma male sees through the smoke and mirrors. He can detect manipulation tactics from a mile away. Guilt-tripping, gaslighting, love-bombing, or social pressure. While others get emotionally entangled in these traps, he simply doesn't engage. Why? Because he doesn't need validation. And that's the key to making manipulation useless against him. Manipulation only works on people who crave approval or fear rejection. Since the Sigma male's self-worth comes from within, external attempts to sway him fall flat. Take workplace politics, for example. While coworkers might try to play mind games to climb the corporate ladder, the Sigma male operates. He doesn't play dirty. He outsmarts the game entirely. He doesn't need flattery, alliances, or backstabbing to get ahead. Instead, he lets his work, strategy, and results speak for themselves. 3. The enigma. One of the most intimidating aspects of a Sigma male in savage mode is his mystery. People can't predict his next move. He keeps his plans, thoughts, and emotions guarded, revealing only what he chooses to. This controlled predictability is an advantage. When people can't read you, they can't manipulate you. They can't anticipate your next move. And this keeps the Sigma male in a position of power. Ever wondered why mystery is so attractive? It's because the unknown sparks curiosity and intrigue. A Sigma male naturally commands respect and interest because he doesn't overshare, doesn't explain himself, and doesn't play by society's expectations. 4. Moving in silence, the ultimate power move. While most people announce their goals to the world, looking for motivation or approval, The Sigma male operates in silence. He doesn't need external hype to validate his mission. He prefers to let his results do the talking. This is a psychological power move. When you don't reveal your plans, no one can sabotage them. This is why powerful people, from historical leaders to modern entrepreneurs, often keep their strategies close to the chest. Why savage mode is unstoppable. A Sigma male in savage mode is an unstoppable force because he is immune to emotional manipulation, mentally unshakable, and strategically unpredictable. His power comes from within, making him one of the most formidable personalities in any setting. And the best part, while the world is busy seeking validation, he's out there making silent moves that leave a lasting impact. Number 3, strategic intelligence, becoming a master of the game. Here's the thing about a fully unleashed Sigma male. He plays chess while the rest play checkers. That's not just a catchy phrase. It's a philosophy. Chess requires foresight, patience, and strategy, while checkers is a game of immediate action and reaction. This fundamental difference is exactly why the Sigma male moves differently in business, relationships, and life. Mastermind at work. Unlike the alpha, who dominates through presence, or the beta, who submits to external control, the Sigma watches from the shadows. He's the quiet strategist, observing people's tendencies, weaknesses, and strengths before making a move. While others impulsively chase opportunities, the Sigma waits for the perfect moment to strike. Take business, for example. While competitors scramble for immediate gains, the Sigma male plays the long game. He's not just looking at what's trending today. He's analyzing what will be valuable years from now. Look at some of the world's most successful entrepreneurs, like Elon Musk. While others were focusing on short-term profits, he was planning an interplanetary future, always 10 steps ahead. The power of calculated strikes. The Sigma male doesn't waste energy on unnecessary battles. He doesn't engage in conflicts for ego's sake. Instead, he calculates every move, ensuring that when he does take action in relationships, this makes him enigmatic and highly desirable. While others are quick to reveal their intentions, he remains a mystery, letting his actions speak louder than words. Women find themselves drawn to him because he's neither desperate nor overly eager. He's a challenge, someone who isn't easily swayed by emotions or societal expectations. This level of control extends to personal development as while the average person may engage in impulsive habits, wasting time on distractions, following trends, or seeking validation. The Sigma male refines himself continuously. He invests in knowledge, hones his skills, and builds a life that's rooted in independence and mastery. The key to dictating the outcome. When you're in control, you dictate the outcome. This is the Sigma male's ultimate advantage. Instead of reacting emotionally to situations, he remains grounded, adapting only when it benefits him. This doesn't mean he's heartless. It means he values logic over blind emotion. Consider warfare. The greatest generals in history, from Sun Tzu to Napoleon, didn't win by sheer brute force. They won through superior strategy. They controlled the battlefield by controlling themselves first. The Sigma male applies this same principle to his life. He's disciplined, self-sufficient, and emotionally resilient, making him nearly impossible to manipulate. While others play checkers, jumping from one impulsive decision to the next, he anticipates, adapts, and executes his plans with precision. And when he makes his move, it's not just effective, it's devastating. Number 4. Physical discipline. Mastering the body as well as the mind. A savage Sigma doesn't just sharpen his mind. He forges his body like steel. He understands that the physical and mental are deeply connected, and he trains accordingly. Strength isn't just about lifting weights. It's about discipline, endurance, and resilience. When a Sigma male commits to strengthening his body, he's reinforcing the very foundation of his mindset. Why physical strength matters for a Sigma male. In a world where dominance is often associated with social status, the Sigma male takes a different approach. He doesn't seek external validation, but he knows that strength commands respect. And in its purest form, strength is not just physical. It's mental, emotional, and spiritual. But make no mistake, the physical aspect is crucial. Take history as an example. The Spartans were feared not just for their intellect, but for their relentless physical conditioning. Warriors, thinkers, and leaders throughout history, like Bruce Lee, Miyamoto Musashi, and even modern-day visionaries, have all understood the importance of physical mastery. A well-trained body is a weapon, and a Sigma male treats his own as such. The link between physical and mental strength. Ever heard of David Goggins? The man went from an overweight, struggling exterminator to a Navy SEAL and one of the toughest endurance athletes in the world. His philosophy: callous the mind through physical suffering. And this is exactly what a Sigma male does. When a Sigma wakes up early to train, hits the gym when he doesn't feel like it, or pushes through pain during a run, he's reinforcing a crucial lesson: comfort is the enemy of growth. By testing his body's limits, he conditions his mind to endure stress, setbacks, and challenges. Science backs this up. Studies show that regular strength training and cardiovascular exercise increase resilience, improve cognitive function, and reduce stress. Like the release of endorphins and the regulation of cortisol help Sigma males maintain their signature calm demeanor even in high-pressure situations. How a Sigma male trains for life. A savage Sigma doesn't just train for aesthetics. He trains for function. He understands that true strength comes from mastering different aspects of physical fitness. Strength training, weightlifting or bodyweight exercises to build power and endurance. Martial arts, Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, or Krav Maga to cultivate discipline and self-defense skills. Cardio endurance, running, swimming, or HIIT to develop stamina and mental toughness. Mobility, flexibility, yoga, stretching, or calisthenics to stay agile and prevent injuries. Every rep, every drop of sweat, and every moment of pain is a step closer to mastery. The presence of power. A Sigma male in peak condition doesn't need to boast. His presence speaks for itself. His posture, his movements, and the way he carries himself demand respect without him saying a word. Strength isn't just about muscle. It's about the energy he radiates. At the end of the day, a savage Sigma knows that the ultimate power lies in self-mastery. And that means being as strong in body as he is in mind. Sigmas, the world fears what it cannot control. And a Sigma male in full savage mode, he's completely unpredictable. He's a force that cannot be stopped. If you've ever felt like you're holding back, ask yourself, the moment you stop suppressing your power and embrace who you truly are, you become unstoppable. So, if you're ready to join this movement, subscribe, like this video, and let's keep building this Sigma community together. Having said this,
They lied, they cheated, they manipulated. But guess what? When the world plays dirty, the Sigma male doesn't just survive, he outmaneuvers. While others throw shade and sling mud, the Sigma male operates on a different level. He doesn't stoop to their games because he knows something vital. Power isn't loud, it's strategic, it's silent, it's calculated. Let's break it down. Studies in psychology reveal that people with high levels of independence and self-awareness, traits common in Sigma males, are less reactive to social manipulation. Why? Because they aren't wired to seek validation from others. This makes them immune to guilt-tripping, gaslighting, and most toxic group dynamics. While the manipulators gather like wolves in a pack, the Sigma operates like a lone panther, silent, agile, and efficient. He observes patterns, anticipates moves, and adapts without fanfare. He plays the long game. When they cheated, he didn't retaliate, he refocused. When they gossiped, he didn't argue, he outperformed. And when they tried to tear him down, he used the rubble to build his empire. That silence, that calm presence, it's not weakness, it's emotional intelligence. It's the kind of composure that sends ripples through a room full of noise. And here's the kicker: they never saw it coming. While they fought for attention, he built influence. While they sought applause, he mastered discipline. In the end, the Sigma didn't just win, he outlasted everyone. This isn't just a mindset, it's a movement. So if you're playing the long game, keep building, stay silent, and remember, Sigma doesn't react, he redirects. Number 1, the dirty game begins. recognizing the playground of manipulation. First off, let's call it what it is. Life isn't always fair. People lie, sabotage, and throw shade just to climb the ladder, and they'll step on anyone to get there. But Sigma males, they don't play in the mud, they observe it. The Sigma male archetype represents the lone wolf, independent, intelligent, and emotionally self-sufficient. In a world driven by status games and social hierarchies, Sigmas quietly opt out. They're not here to compete for attention or validation. Instead, they focus on self-mastery, strategy, and truth. Think of the Sigma as a silent chess master. While others flip the board in rage over minor losses, the Sigma remains calm, analyzing every move, staying 3 steps ahead. Research in behavioral psychology even supports this approach. Individuals who cultivate self-awareness and emotional regulation are more likely to succeed in high-stress environments without resorting to manipulation or conflict. Sigmas thrive because they know the game but choose not to play it. They see through fake smiles, hidden agendas, and toxic workplaces not with paranoia, but with clarity. They don't lash out. They detach, observe, and adapt. This ability to stay grounded while chaos swirls is rooted in a principle known as cognitive detachment, the art of separating your emotions from the situation to make better decisions. And here's the twist. Peace is their power. While others exhaust themselves trying to outshine, outtalk, or outmaneuver each other, Sigmas master the art of stillness. They invest in their skills, guard their time, and choose their battles. They don't need to match chaos with chaos. They win by refusing to react and choosing to respond. So if the world feels like a rigged carnival of egos, remember this. You don't have to join the circus. Be the one who studies the ring, understands the acts, and walks away with clarity. That's the Sigma edge, silent, strategic, and unshakable. Number 2, Sigma's secret weapon, emotional detachment. While others scramble for social media validation, chasing trends, and tailoring every post for likes, the Sigma male remains emotionally detached. Not because he lacks emotion, but because he understands something most overlook. Emotional discipline equals power. Unlike alpha males who often assert dominance through social hierarchies, or beta males who seek group approval, the Sigma male operates outside the social structure entirely. He doesn't seek validation because he's self-validated. According to psychologist Carl Jung's theory of individuation, Sigma males exhibit a high degree of self-awareness and authenticity. They've internalized their worth, so external opinions hold little weight. This detachment doesn't make them cold. It makes them composed. When others get swept up in emotional drama or online clout battles, the Sigma's silence speaks volumes. While one person's ego rises and falls with every notification, the Sigma uses his quiet to sharpen focus and preserve energy. In a world obsessed with being seen, the Sigma's power comes from being unseen. Let's talk ghosting. If someone disappears from a Sigma's life without explanation, he doesn't spiral into anxiety or double text. He simply mirrors the silence and retreats deeper into his solitude. Ironically, that unbothered reaction often leaves the other person more shaken than if he had begged for attention. This is based on the psychological principle of reactance. The less someone reacts, the more the other person wants their attention. The Sigma male doesn't chase what's leaving. He honors what stays, and more importantly, he honors himself. His cave, metaphorically speaking, is not a lonely place. It's a fortress of peace, growth, and clarity. And here's the kicker. Your silence isn't just a lack of noise, it's a strategy. It signals self-respect, boundary setting, and mental strength. In a world that's constantly shouting for attention, choosing silence can be the loudest statement of all. So don't let the world pull you into its chaos. Remember, your silence is your sword. Use it wisely. Number 3, outsmarting the narcissists, strategy over emotion. The Sigma male doesn't need to shout to be heard. He doesn't crave attention, approval, or validation. His power lies in his quiet observation, sharp intellect, and deliberate detachment. While the world chases applause, the Sigma male chases clarity. He's not playing for popularity, he's playing for peace. This unique archetype, often misunderstood, thrives on autonomy. Unlike alpha males, who seek dominance, or beta males who seek acceptance, the Sigma walks alone. Not because he's antisocial, but because he's anti-drama. He doesn't react, he analyzes. When a narcissist steps into the room, manipulating emotions like a puppeteer, the Sigma doesn't bite. Instead, he watches, he listens, he deciphers patterns. Narcissists thrive on control through confusion and chaos, but Sigma males use logic and emotional detachment as armor. It's not about being cold. It's about being strategic. Like a chess master, the Sigma sees 3 moves ahead. He spots the red flags long before they turn into explosions. Think of him as Jason Bourne, calm, calculating, and always prepared to exit the scene before it turns toxic. Studies in behavioral psychology show that those with higher emotional intelligence can detect manipulation more quickly and protect themselves from it. Sigma males often display these traits using self-awareness and introspection as tools to maintain control over their environment. Drama isn't just avoided, it's dissected. The Sigma analyzes emotional traps and sidesteps them with precision. He doesn't argue or try to prove his point. He distances himself. Why fight for approval when you can walk away with your peace? At the core, being Sigma is about freedom from social games, from toxic influence, and from emotional captivity. The Sigma male's path isn't loud, but it's powerful. He knows this truth. You don't need their approval to live your life. You need your mind clear, your heart guarded, and your purpose firm. You're not here to win anyone's favor. You're here to win your freedom, and that's exactly what the Sigma male does. Number 4, building in the shadows, the ultimate play. Here's the part they never saw coming. While they laughed, gossiped, and schemed, the Sigma male was building. Not for applause, not for validation, but for purpose. While others wasted their energy tearing others down to feel taller, the Sigma was busy laying a foundation, building his body, mind, skills, and future. Let's break this down. Sigma males often embrace self-discipline when it comes to physical health. It's not about vanity, but strength, both physical and mental. Studies from the American Psychological Association confirm that regular exercise boosts not only muscle and endurance, but also mood, focus, and discipline. Early morning runs, late-night gym sessions, or simple calisthenics. It's all part of training the body as a gateway to mastering the mind. After all, a strong body often fuels a strong will. Instead of wasting hours on gossip or binge-watching endless dramas, Sigma males invest in their mental growth. The average CEO reportedly reads around 60 books a year, soaking up knowledge that keeps them ahead. While a Sigma may not seek a fancy title, he adopts the same relentless hunger to learn, whether through books, podcasts, or online courses. This continuous learning sharpens critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and resilience. From coding to communication, martial arts to money management, Sigma males don't wait for opportunities, they create them. Studies show that consistently learning new skills improves cognitive flexibility and adaptability, key traits in a fast-changing world. This empire isn't always a business empire. It could be financial independence, a personal brand, or a life crafted on his own terms. Sigma's practice delayed gratification. While others chase instant likes, he stacks assets and value silently. Number 5, the return. When silence breaks, it roars. Years later, they see him again, but this time he's not the same man who vanished without a trace. There's something different about him, an undeniable air of quiet certainty and magnetic presence. When he walks into a room, conversations pause and eyes subtly turn. It's not about volume or loud dominance. It's a calm command that resonates deep within the space. Sharp yet grounded, his energy doesn't shout, it hums. People whisper in awe, "What happened to him? What happened?" He's Sigma'd up. The Sigma male isn't just another personality type. He operates on a different wavelength altogether. While the world is often obsessed with clout, validation, and social climbing, the Sigma chooses a path less traveled, strategic disappearance. But this vanishing act isn't a sign of weakness or defeat. It's a deliberate move toward growth, self-mastery, and transformation. To understand this better, let's turn to psychology. Carl Jung, one of the pioneers of personality theory, identified several archetypes. Among them is the lone wolf, the introverted alpha, often called the Sigma male in modern discourse. Unlike the alpha male who leads the pack with bold dominance, the Sigma controls his own territory silently and independently. He doesn't follow the herd or conform to social expectations. He rewrites the rules of engagement. Self-sufficient, adaptable, and deeply introspective, the Sigma male thrives in solitude. So, what really happens during his disappearance? He goes into ghost mode, not to hide, but to upgrade. This isn't about superficial changes like new jobs or looks. It's a deep internal overhaul of mindset, habits, and purpose. While others get lost scrolling social media or engaging in trivial drama, he's out there building skills, sharpening his mind, and setting clear, meaningful goals. He understands a profound truth. Time favors the focused. Take Steve Jobs, for example. When Apple ousted him in 1985, many thought his career was over. But he didn't just disappear, he pivoted. Jobs founded Next, acquired Pixar, and honed his vision. By the time he returned to Apple, he wasn't the same man. He was an evolved force, ready to revolutionize the tech world. This is a classic Sigma move. Disappear, evolve, then return stronger. This transformation isn't about arrogance, it's about alignment. The Sigma male stops chasing people's approval and starts chasing purpose. When others throw dirt, he refuses to get dirty. Instead, he grows beyond the game, becoming the unexpected storm that reshapes the landscape. Psychologically, this is known as post-traumatic growth. Research shows that people who face adversity and intentionally process their challenges often emerge stronger, more resilient, and more focused. The Sigma doesn't avoid pain. He transforms it into power. He masters emotional regulation, builds intellectual capital, and invests deeply in silence. He develops unshakable self-discipline, tuning out the noise of the world to hear his own inner strength. Now, when he speaks, people listen, not because he demands it, but because his presence naturally commands respect. And the best part? He doesn't do it to impress others. He does it because he owes it to himself. So next time someone disappears from your life, don't assume they've lost. They might be quietly working in the lab of life, crafting a version of themselves so transformed that when they return, all anyone can ask is, what happened to him? He Sigma'd up. And remember, time always favors the focused. Number 6, lessons from the Sigma path, how you can apply this today. Sigmas, if you've ever been played, lied to, or overlooked, you know the sting of being misunderstood or underestimated, but here's the truth that separates the wise from the rest. You don't respond to chaos. You redirect it. Why? Because chaos thrives on reaction. When you engage impulsively with drama or negativity, you're essentially feeding the beast. Think of it like a fire. Throwing gasoline on it makes it roar higher, but quietly removing the fuel source lets it burn out. Redirecting chaos means you choose the narrative, the energy, and the outcome, not the chaos itself. Next, don't announce your moves. This is classic Sigma strategy. The world loves to watch the loud players who broadcast their every step, hoping for applause. But the true power move? Make your progress undeniable without fanfare. Let your actions speak so loud they drown out the noise of the doubters and manipulators. History is filled with examples of great leaders and innovators who quietly worked behind the scenes, then dropped achievements that stunned everyone. Think of Tesla working in obscurity, or Warren Buffett steadily building his empire while others chased headlines, and about arguing with clowns. Never waste your energy. In psychology, clowns here are the provocateurs, those who thrive on attention and chaos. The crowd can't always tell who's serious and who's just making noise. Arguing with them only drags you down to their level. Instead, stay composed, maintain your dignity, and rise above. Your silence can be your loudest statement. So, what should you do instead? Get sharper. This means constantly honing your mind. Learn new skills, read deeply, challenge your beliefs. Intellectual growth is a Sigma's secret weapon. Get healthier. Physical fitness isn't just about looks, it's about discipline, stamina, and confidence. Get smarter, not just book smart, but emotionally intelligent, understanding social dynamics and human behavior. Upgrade in silence. This is the ultimate Sigma mantra. Work on yourself when no one is watching, so when you emerge, your success is undeniable. Winning in private means building your legacy quietly, far from the distractions of superficial praise or envy, because the greatest play is the one they never see coming. Number 7, inspiration for every Sigma watching. To every Sigma out there building in silence, know this: choosing a path away from drama and chaos is not a sign of weakness or isolation. In fact, it's a mark of wisdom and strength. Sigmas aren't anti-social, they're anti-bullshit. This distinction is crucial because while extroverts thrive in social settings and alphas often seek the spotlight, Sigmas quietly carve their own way without the need for validation or unnecessary noise. Psychologically, choosing solitude is a strategic move. Studies in social behavior show that introverted or independent personalities often recharge better alone, allowing their minds the clarity to think deeply and plan smartly. This is why Sigmas tend to avoid drama. not out of fear or coldness, but out of a deliberate choice to protect their energy and focus on what truly matters. Putting yourself first isn't selfish, it's essential self-care. Research in emotional intelligence emphasizes the importance of setting healthy boundaries and prioritizing your mental and emotional health. Sigmas understand that without inner stability, no external success or connection is sustainable. And here's a fascinating truth about patience and timing. Like a storm brewing quietly, Sigmas prepare behind the scenes. When the time is right, their impact is undeniable, often catching others off guard. It's a powerful reminder that success isn't always loud or immediate. It's the result of consistent, smart effort done quietly. Now, about karma, it's often described as the universe's way of balancing actions. When people play dirty, the consequences often circle back, sometimes in unexpected ways. Ironically, those who caused harm may eventually find themselves needing the help of the very person they underestimated. This is not just poetic justice, it's a practical reminder to keep integrity as your guide. So stay on your path, keep playing smarter, and trust the process. Your time is coming, and when it does, those who doubted you will be left wondering how they missed the storm that was building right beneath their noses. Sigmas, if this hit you in the gut, if it reminded you of your strength, your silence, your strategy, then you know what to do. Hit that like button. Subscribe and join this growing community of strategic thinkers, lone wolves, and silent powerhouses. Apply these qualities. Live smarter, play wiser. They may have played dirty, but Sigmas, we played smarter. Stay true and stay Sigma. Sigmas, if you've ever felt like a lone wolf in a world obsessed with selfies, followers, and viral moments, you're not alone. While the masses shout to be seen, Sigma males often say more with their silence than others do with megaphones. So today's question is, if you have any of these habits, you're definitely a Sigma. But if you don't, this isn't about being superior, it's about understanding a unique psychological archetype, one that's rare but powerful. Sigma males typically embody traits like independence, introspection, and quiet confidence. They don't reject society, they simply don't rely on it for validation. For example, a key Sigma habit is thriving in solitude. Unlike extroverts who gain energy from social interaction, or even introverts who still need close circles, Sigmas recharge in isolation and often produce their best work alone. Studies in personality psychology even link this to high levels of self-determination and intrinsic motivation. Another signature move, nonconformity. Sigmas challenge norms. Not for rebellion, but because they're guided by internal logic. While others follow trends, Sigmas often start them unintentionally. It's like showing up in worn-out boots and accidentally creating a fashion statement. Then there's the refusal to chase approval. Instead of asking, will they like me? A Sigma asks, do I like this version of me? That mindset flips the script. So if you recognize these habits in yourself, solitude over crowds, conviction over conformity, and authenticity over applause, congratulations, you're not lost. You're just walking a rare path carved by clarity, not noise. If not, maybe it's time to look inward and start asking the real questions. Welcome to the Sigma frequency. Let's keep going. Point 1, you disappear to recharge, not to hide. While most people fear solitude, you crave it not as an escape, but as a sanctuary for growth and clarity. Solitude isn't your weakness, it's your sanctuary, your creative engine, your recalibration zone. In a world addicted to noise, you find meaning in silence. Research supports this instinct. Studies in cognitive neuroscience have shown that periods of solitude improve concentration, creativity, and emotional regulation. A 2017 study published in the journal Perspectives on Psychological Science found that people who embrace alone time experience greater self-reflection and personal growth. When you're alone, the brain's default mode network activates. This is the system responsible for introspection, memory, and imagination. This is why you seek isolation not out of loneliness, but to reset. Like a monk in meditation or a tactician reviewing the battlefield, solitude is where you recharge and rethink. The distractions vanish. You're not performing for anyone. There's no pressure to explain yourself. It's in this stillness that your thoughts sharpen and your decisions gain precision. It confuses people. They interpret your absence as withdrawal, even rejection. But they don't understand that silence is your superpower. You're not disconnecting from them. You're reconnecting with yourself. You're not avoiding the world. You're preparing to face it with clarity and purpose. This trait mirrors the behavior of high-achieving individuals across time. Think of Nikola Tesla, who famously said, "The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude," or Steve Wozniak, who built the first Apple computer not in a crowded lab, but alone in his garage. Solitude is often the soil where genius is planted. So while the crowd scrolls through noise and chases attention, you disappear into thought, into vision, into growth. Like a philosopher in a leather jacket, you're not lonely, you're reloading. When you return, you bring ideas sharper than swords and decisions anchored in authenticity. In a world that doesn't pause, you are the pause, the stillness before the storm, the calm before the breakthrough. And that's a kind of power most people never tap into. Point 2. You observe more than you speak. Sigmas aren't the loudest in the room, and they don't need to be. While others compete for attention with flashy words and exaggerated gestures, the Sigma male operates with quiet confidence. He doesn't strive to be seen, he chooses when to be heard. That's what sets him apart. In social dynamics, extroversion is often mistaken for leadership, but research in personality psychology, particularly within the Big Five traits model, suggests otherwise. Sigmas usually score high in openness and conscientiousness, but lower in extroversion. This means they're more reflective, calculated, and self-directed. They process their environment thoroughly before engaging, giving them a strategic edge in both personal and professional settings. While others speak to fill silence, Sigmas speak to add value. Think of it like a sniper versus a machine gun. One takes deliberate aim, the other sprays wildly, hoping something lands. When a Sigma male speaks, people stop and listen, not because he's the loudest, but because they've learned that what he says is worth hearing. This quality is often misunderstood. Some might see the Sigma's silence as disinterest or arrogance, but what's really happening is observation and analysis. Sigmas take in the energy of the room, read the intentions behind words, and study body language. It's like having a built-in radar for authenticity. And when they finally choose to speak, their insights often feel like a plot twist in a movie, unexpected, sharp, and unforgettable. Take Abraham Lincoln, for example, who famously said, "Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and to remove all doubt." Many consider Lincoln to have had Sigma tendencies, introverted, introspective, yet highly influential. This is why Sigmas can thrive in leadership roles without dominating others. Their calm demeanor and selective communication style create a natural magnetism. People respect them not for the volume of their voice, but for the depth of their wisdom. So the next time you're in a crowded room and feel the urge to compete for attention, remember, sometimes the most powerful presence is the one that doesn't seek to be seen at all. It's the one that observes, waits, and strikes with precision. That's the Sigma way. Point 3, you don't follow trends, you question them. TikTok said do this, Instagram said wear that. Society said behave this way. But you questioned it all. That's not rebellion for attention, it's clarity with intention. While most people are running after trends like moths to a flame, you're asking the real questions. Does this align with my values? Does this serve my purpose? The Sigma mindset isn't about being difficult. It's about being deliberate. Psychologists recognize this personality as a blend of introversion, independence, and high self-awareness. Sigma males, in particular, are lone wolves, not because they're antisocial, but because they're internally driven. They don't look to culture for direction, they look inward. Trends are designed to generate mass appeal. Fashion, language, and even behaviors are constantly evolving to fit what's marketable, not necessarily what's meaningful. The average person sees what's popular and thinks, I should do that too. But the Sigma sees it and thinks, why? That critical pause, that mental resistance, is a powerful psychological trait called cognitive independence. This independence makes you unpredictable. Why? Because society can't manipulate what it can't influence. That kind of sovereignty is rare and threatening to people who rely on validation and groupthink to feel secure. But here's the Sigma advantage. You're not here to blend in, you're here to build something different. Where others conform, you transform. You forge your own path, even if it's unpopular. You measure success not by likes, follows, or applause, but by alignment with your purpose. You're not chasing what's hot, you're chasing what's real. And in a world flooded with noise, that authenticity isn't just refreshing, it's revolutionary. So when the world says, do this, wear that, act like us, and you respond with no thanks, You're not rejecting society. You're embracing yourself, and that's power. Point 4, you have a tight inner circle, if any at all. You don't need a crowd, just a few loyal, like-minded allies, and you're set. This isn't arrogance, it's intention. You value depth over drama, truth over tactics, and loyalty over likes. While others collect acquaintances like trophies, you're curating a tribe. A tribe where honesty flows freely and pretense has no seat at the table. This mindset is rooted in psychology. Studies in social cognition suggest that humans can only maintain around 150 stable relationships, known as Dunbar's number. But within that circle, it's the quality, not quantity, that drives emotional well-being. People who focus on meaningful relationships often report higher levels of life satisfaction and lower levels of stress. Why? Because authenticity is grounding. It shields you from the chaos of superficiality. To you, loyalty isn't negotiable. Trust isn't given. It's earned. And if someone can't handle the truth, then they simply don't belong in your orbit. That's not harsh. It's self-preservation, and it's not about being antisocial. It's about being selective. You don't waste time decoding mixed signals or dancing around false intentions. This behavior can be misread. Some may label you distant or cold, but here's the paradox. The very traits that make you misunderstood are the ones that also earn respect. Your boundaries aren't barriers, they're filters. And in a world addicted to attention, being selective is a power move. Think of it like tuning a radio. You don't need noise, you need a clear frequency. And when you find people who vibrate at your level, the connection isn't just social, it's soulful. So while others chase crowds, you build a fortress of truth. It's smaller, yes, but it's stronger. And in that sacred space of loyalty, honesty, and realness, you thrive. Point 5, you work in silence and let results speak. While others are showcasing their lives in curated posts and highlight reels, you're in the shadows, working, not hiding, building. While the world scrolls, you grind. You're the type who prefers action over applause, results over recognition. That's the difference between noise and legacy. There's psychological evidence backing this mindset. A 2009 study from NYU found that publicly announcing your goals can give your brain a premature sense of accomplishment. You feel rewarded before doing the work, which actually decreases motivation. In other words, the more you talk, the less you tend to execute. Meanwhile, you're laying bricks in silence, one rep at a time, one late-night brainstorm at a time. You don't post every gym selfie because your results speak louder than filters. You don't broadcast your every hustle because your wins will one day be undeniable. It's the difference between looking rich and actually building wealth. This mentality echoes the philosophy of the Sigma male archetype, an independent, self-reliant individual who doesn't seek validation from the crowd. You understand that discipline outperforms dopamine. Real confidence isn't loud. It's quiet, precise, and consistent. When you move in silence, your success becomes your announcement. It shocks people because they didn't see it coming, but you did. You saw it when you were in the trenches, crafting plans when others were partying. You saw it while others were posting about ambition, and you were living it. Because in the end, talk is cheap. Execution, that's priceless. While others chase attention, you build a legacy. And when you finally step into the light, it won't be to prove anything, it'll be to lead. Point 6, you can lead, but you don't chase leadership. Sigmas are natural leaders, not because they chase the spotlight, but because they embody quiet influence. Unlike traditional alpha personalities who dominate with charisma and hierarchy, Sigmas operate outside the social structure. They don't beg for the throne because they never needed one to begin with. Their leadership is magnetic, not manufactured. It's gravity, not grandstanding. One key reason people follow Sigmas is because they lead by example, not ego. Psychologists call this servant leadership, a style where leaders prioritize the growth and well-being of others. Research shows that this style builds trust and long-term loyalty. Sigmas are often the ones who do the right thing when no one is watching. They keep their word, own their responsibilities, and face adversity without drama. This quiet consistency earns them respect without the need for self-promotion. They don't need external validation. Science backs this too. Studies in emotional intelligence have shown that individuals who score high in self-awareness and self-regulation tend to have more internal motivation. In simpler terms, they don't rely on applause to know their worth. That's Sigma energy. When crises strike or leadership falters, who do people look to? Not the loudest voice in the room, but the calmest. That's when sigmas rise, silently, steadily, powerfully, because leadership to them isn't about titles, but action. When everyone else is scrambling, they're thinking 3 steps ahead. When the plan falls apart, they're already building a new one. Think of figures like Keanu Reeves or Elon Musk, private, introspective, but undeniably influential. They don't demand attention, attention follows them. They don't play by the social rule book, they rewrite it. So no, you don't wear a crown, but when the storm comes and the structure shakes, people turn to you, not because you asked to lead, but because you're already leading. That's the Sigma way, unspoken, unshakable, unstoppable. Point 7, you value freedom over comfort. Comfort is a trap. Sigmas know this deeply. It's a fundamental truth woven into their mindset and lifestyle. While most people naturally seek comfort, the path of least resistance, Sigmas understand that true growth, freedom, and fulfillment lie beyond the cozy cage of familiarity. Why is comfort a trap? Psychologists have long studied the comfort zone and its limitations. It's a behavioral space where everything feels safe and predictable, but it also stifles potential and creativity. When you remain in comfort, your brain resists change because change requires energy and risks uncertainty. That's why so many people settle for a dull job or stay in unfulfilling relationships. It feels easier than facing the unknown. Sigmas reject this trap. They choose freedom over security, even if that means risking failure or starting from scratch. This mindset mirrors findings from research on high achievers and entrepreneurs who often embrace risk and uncertainty because they prioritize autonomy and self-actualization over mere comfort. The 9-to-5 grind, for example, might offer stability, but it can also suffocate the spirit, limit creative expression, and clip the wings of someone wired for independence. A Sigma male values his freedom like sacred treasure. He is willing to walk away from toxic situations, dead-end jobs, or relationships that drain his energy without looking back. This willingness to embrace uncertainty and possible failure stems from a core belief that freedom and authenticity are worth more than a cushy cage. The truth is, comfort may feel good temporarily, but it often leads to stagnation. The willingness to face discomfort, uncertainty, and failure is what propels Sigmas toward extraordinary lives. It's about protecting the freedom to grow, explore, and become the person they were meant to be, even if it means starting over again and again. That's the Sigma way. Point 8, you're immune to peer pressure. You don't care if everyone else is going left. If your gut says go right, that's exactly where you're headed. This kind of mindset goes beyond just being stubborn or contrary. It's a reflection of a deeply ingrained personal compass that guides your decisions regardless of the crowd's direction. Psychologists often refer to this as a trait linked with strong self-awareness and confidence. Studies have shown that people who rely on their intuition and inner judgment tend to have better decision-making skills in complex or uncertain situations. Why? Because they're less influenced by external noise and social pressure, allowing clearer access to their own values and goals. This resistance to the herd mentality means you aren't easily swayed by popular opinion or trends. Social psychologist Solomon Asch famously demonstrated in the 1950s through his conformity experiments how powerful peer pressure can be, but you, the independent thinker, resist that influence. Being called stubborn or difficult by others might actually be a compliment in disguise. It means you have an unshakable alignment with your own internal compass, and you're willing to stand firm in what you believe, even when it's unpopular. This rare independence is also magnetic. People are naturally drawn to those who confidently chart their own path. It's not arrogance, it's authenticity. When you embody that confidence and authenticity, you inspire others to question their own conformity and find courage to be true to themselves. So next time someone calls you stubborn or difficult, remember you're not just going your own way, you're leading with integrity and courage. In a world that often values fitting in, being the one who dares to go right when everyone goes left is a superpower, one that's educational, empowering, and genuinely magnetic. Sigmas, these aren't just habits. They're battle-tested blueprints. If you have even a few of them, you're not just different. You're dangerous, in the best way. You don't fit into the system because you weren't built for it. You were built to build your own. So if these habits resonate with you, lean into them. Don't suppress your Sigma nature to make others comfortable. Own it, sharpen it, let it lead you. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more sigmas. Sigmas. If this video hit you in the chest or lit a fire under your goals, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and join this community of wolves among sheep. We don't follow the map, we draw it. Until next time, stay true and stay Sigma. Why do Sigma males trigger people so much, even without saying a single word? The truth might surprise you. What's up, Sigmas? Welcome back to the channel that unpacks the psychology of men who move in silence, but shake entire rooms. Let's talk about that weird tension you feel when you enter a room. You haven't done anything, you haven't even spoken. Yet eyes shift, some people go cold. Others try to compete with you without understanding why. Here's the deal. Sigma males challenge the social blueprint. In a world driven by hierarchy, approval, and conformity, Sigma males break the mold. And that is unsettling. Fact. According to social psychology, humans are wired to read non-verbal cues. When you're silent, composed, and unaffected by social pressure, people don't know how to categorize you. That unknown? It breeds discomfort. People expect loud dominance or submissive friendliness. You give them neither. Instead, you radiate controlled confidence, minimal need for validation, and a calm detachment that reads like mystery, and that mystery is power. Some mistake your quiet as arrogance. Others project their insecurities onto your independence. The truth? You're just not playing their game. And that triggers something primal, because when you don't need them, they start wondering why they ever needed anyone's approval in the first place. So don't shrink. Stay silent, stay grounded, and let your presence do what it always does: disrupt, expose, and inspire. Let's get deeper. Ready for the 8 reasons you trigger people without a word? Let's go. Reason 1, Sigmas. Break the social script, and that makes people uncomfortable. You know the drill. Society loves its labels. Alpha males are the leaders. Beta males are the followers. Everyone's supposed to find a rank and fall in line. But Sigma males, they step off the chart entirely. They're not just breaking the mold, they're ignoring it altogether. Sigmas operate outside the social hierarchy. They don't seek validation, approval, or the limelight. While the alphas are flexing status and the betas are seeking it, Sigmas are quietly walking a different path, one built on autonomy, purpose, and deep self-awareness. And this terrifies people. Why? Because a Sigma male's mere existence is disruptive. He challenges societal programming. Most people are taught to conform, to belong to groups, follow trends, and find their identity in external labels. Sigmas do none of that. They are self-defining, self-sufficient, and self-directed. That level of independence exposes the fragility in other people's sense of identity. Psychologically, this taps into a phenomenon known as cognitive dissonance. The discomfort we feel when we're confronted with a reality that contradicts our beliefs or behavior. When people see a Sigma succeeding without playing the game, it threatens their worldview. It makes them question their own life choices, and that's deeply unsettling. So instead of adapting, many respond with judgment, criticism, or even hostility. This is the essence of why Sigmas are often misunderstood or even disliked. They're not trying to be rebels, they just are. They're not trying to challenge the system. They just live outside of it. But their very presence shines a light on the artificiality of the roles most people feel stuck in. From a sociological perspective, Sigmas represent the archetype of the lone wolf, a figure celebrated in mythology and literature, but often marginalized in reality. They're the Sherlock Holmes, the Batman, the John Wick. Powerful, solitary, mysterious. And let's face it, the world doesn't know what to do with people it can't control or categorize. So yes, Sigmas get hated, not because they're wrong, but because they're rare, and rarity makes people nervous. Reason 2, Sigmas are self-sufficient, which makes others feel dependent and weak. Think about it. Sigmas don't ask for help. They don't crave validation. They handle their business solo. While most people are wired to seek community and affirmation, Sigma males are wired a little differently. They're not antisocial, they're selectively social. They don't reject connection, but they certainly don't depend on it to define their worth. In psychology, this self-contained mindset aligns with the concept of internal locus of control, the belief that you control your destiny through your own actions, not external forces or other people. Studies have shown that individuals with a strong internal locus of control tend to be more resilient, motivated, and less prone to anxiety or peer pressure. Now contrast that with the average person constantly refreshing their feed for likes, checking their phone to see if they've been validated by the outside world. That's the difference. Sigmas validate themselves. When someone encounters a Sigma who's walking tall without applause, thriving without cheerleaders, and progressing without guidance, it can trigger deep insecurities. Why? Because the Sigma becomes a mirror, reflecting back what others might lack: independence, clarity, and confidence. It's uncomfortable to be reminded of your own dependency. And instead of taking that discomfort as motivation to grow, some people take the easier path: resentment. They don't hate the Sigma because he's arrogant. They hate him because he's proof that you don't need to follow the herd to succeed. Here's the educational truth. Self-sufficiency is often misinterpreted as arrogance because it breaks social norms. In a world built on tribes, networks, and approval loops, someone who operates beyond that structure can seem like a threat. But in reality, they're just self-actualizing. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization, becoming the most you can be, is the highest level of psychological development. That's where the Sigma operates. And not everyone's ready to confront that truth. Bottom line, self-sufficiency is intimidating to those who rely on others for identity. But for the Sigma, it's just another day being unapologetically themselves. Reason 3, Sigmas speak their truth, brutally honest, often unapologetically. Here's a truth bomb for you. Sigma males don't sugarcoat. They're blunt, direct, and sometimes their honesty stings like a bee on a hot summer day. Unlike most people who prefer softening the truth or dancing around uncomfortable topics, Sigmas cut straight to the chase. They say what they mean and mean what they say. Why is this so fascinating? Because in everyday social settings, people tend to avoid confrontation. Gossip, half-truths, and politeness often take center stage. This helps maintain social harmony and keeps egos intact. But the Sigma male? He's a different breed. His form of transparency doesn't just ruffle feathers, it shakes the whole tree. Psychologically, this honesty can trigger discomfort in others because it shines a spotlight on their own insecurities or self-deceptions. When someone hears an unfiltered truth from a Sigma, it's like looking into a mirror that reflects all their flaws and pretenses. This mirror isn't flattering, and that can be hard to swallow. It's no surprise that people often respond defensively, sometimes with jealousy, anger, or silent contempt. Research in social psychology shows that humans have a natural tendency called cognitive dissonance, which is the mental discomfort experienced when confronted with information that contradicts their beliefs or self-image. Sigmas, by being unapologetically truthful, often trigger this dissonance. People prefer comforting lies over harsh truths. So when a Sigma exposes reality, it challenges their internal narrative. But there's a reason why Sigmas embrace this role. Their blunt honesty is a form of integrity. They value authenticity above popularity or acceptance. They believe that growth and real connection happen when the truth is out in the open, even if it's uncomfortable. This is a powerful trait because it fosters genuine relationships and self-awareness. Of course, being brutally honest can come with social costs. It can isolate Sigmas or make them seem intimidating. But their strength lies in standing firm despite this resistance. The Sigma male understands that truth isn't always popular, but it's always necessary. So next time you encounter a Sigma who calls it like they see it, remember they're not trying to hurt you. They're holding up a mirror to help you see yourself clearly. And that kind of clarity, though tough to face, is a rare and valuable gift. Reason 4, Sigmas are mysterious, and humans fear what they don't understand. The quiet Sigma male, the man who doesn't overshare, doesn't crave the spotlight, and keeps his cards close to his chest, becomes something of an enigma in social settings. This isn't just a personality quirk, it taps into a deep psychological truth about human nature. Humans are wired to feel uneasy around what they don't understand. Psychologists call this ambiguity aversion. When faced with someone mysterious or unpredictable, our brains get a little anxious because we lack the information we need to predict their behavior. The Sigma male's silence and reserved nature only amplify this effect. People naturally want to decode him, to tear apart the mystery, because mystery challenges their need for certainty and control. But here's the fascinating part. This very mystery is a source of incredible power. Historically, people who don't reveal everything about themselves immediately often command more respect and attention. Think of leaders, thinkers, and visionaries who are known not just for what they say, but for the aura of intrigue they carry. The quiet confidence of the Sigma creates a magnetic presence that draws others in, a force field of intrigue and respect. Moreover, in social dynamics, attention is a limited resource. By not chasing attention, the Sigma male paradoxically attracts it, because his restraint signals independence and self-control, qualities that many admire but few truly possess. So Sigmas embrace the enigma. Your silence isn't a void, it's a canvas on which others paint their curiosity. Let them wonder. After all, when you don't give away all your cards, you keep the power in the game. It drives people crazy, and that's exactly the point. Reason 5. Sigmas don't follow the crowd, they blaze their own trails. You've heard it before, don't be a sheep. This simple phrase captures a powerful truth about Sigma males who live by this principle every single day. Unlike those who follow the crowd, Sigmas refuse to jump on fleeting trends or seek validation by doing what everyone else is doing. Their independence runs deep, and it shapes how they navigate life. Psychologically, this behavior ties into the Sigma's strong internal locus of control. They believe they are responsible for their own success and happiness, rather than relying on external approval. This mindset naturally leads them to stand apart, sometimes quite literally standing alone in a world that often values conformity. This independence can be intimidating to others. When people see someone confidently marching to the beat of their own drum, it highlights their own complacency or fear of standing out. It's human nature to feel uneasy when confronted with someone who defies social norms, and that discomfort can translate into sideways glances or even outright dislike. From a social perspective, the Sigma's solitary path challenges the herd mentality. Studies in social psychology show that humans have an innate tendency to conform, known as the Ash conformity experiments demonstrate how powerful peer pressure can be. Sigmas, however, resist this pressure. They prioritize authenticity over acceptance, which can lead to both admiration and alienation. So yes, the Sigma who lives on their own terms can expect to be misunderstood or even disliked by some. But it's precisely this refusal to blend in that makes them stand out, and that's their greatest strength. They are not sheep, they are wolves moving quietly but confidently through the crowd, changing the game by simply being themselves. Reason 6. Sigmas don't need external validation, and that threatens ego-driven people. In today's world, where social media dominates so much of our lives, the constant chase for likes, followers, and validation can feel overwhelming. Everyone seems obsessed with crafting the perfect image online, seeking approval from others as a measure of their self-worth. But Sigma males stand apart from this frenzy. They simply don't care about external validation or social proof. Unlike many who post every detail of their lives online, Sigmas derive their confidence from within. Their self-esteem isn't dependent on the number of likes or comments they receive. Instead, they cultivate a strong inner foundation, a sense of identity and purpose that remains steady regardless of outside opinions. This independence is rooted in psychological concepts like intrinsic motivation, where one's drive comes from personal values and goals, rather than external rewards. This refusal to seek approval can drive others crazy, especially those whose egos thrive on admiration and control. When someone craves admiration, they feel powerful by influencing how others perceive them. But when a Sigma male refuses to play the game, it disrupts that dynamic. The ego-driven individuals feel powerless and often respond with resentment or jealousy. Interestingly, this dynamic reflects broader social psychology findings about group behavior and dominance. People often react negatively when their expected social hierarchies are challenged or when they lose control over social narratives. In short, Sigmas' disregard for social validation is not just a personality trait, but a form of quiet rebellion against societal pressures to conform. Their confidence, drawn from within, highlights a profound lesson. True power doesn't come from others' approval, but from knowing and accepting yourself. And that ultimately unsettles those who rely on external validation to feel important. Reason 7. Sigmas radiate calm confidence, a silent power that intimidates. You know the type, calm, cool, collected, completely unshaken by drama or chaos. This kind of calm confidence isn't just about staying quiet or passive, it's a magnetic energy that naturally pulls people in. Psychologically, humans are drawn to calmness because it signals stability and control, qualities we instinctively seek in others. Sigma males embody this quiet power. They don't feel the need to compete for attention or validate themselves through loud displays. Instead, they command respect simply by being themselves, grounded, self-assured, and unbothered by external noise. This silent dominance creates a presence in any room without saying a word. But here's the twist. This magnetic calm can make some people uneasy, especially those who are insecure or used to controlling social dynamics. When a Sigma male steps into a space with effortless confidence, it can unintentionally expose others' vulnerabilities or insecurities. That's why some might react with discomfort or even hostility. This rare form of power, rooted in inner peace and self-mastery, disrupts the usual social drama and competition. It's why Sigma males often stand apart, respected from a distance, admired by many but sometimes misunderstood or even envied by others. Reason 8. Sigmas are not easily controlled, and that's a nightmare for control freaks. The world is full of people who want to control others, whether bosses, partners, friends, or society itself. Control is a form of influence that shapes how people think, act, or behave, often to fit someone else's agenda or expectations. But Sigma males stand apart because they resist control at all costs. Unlike others who may conform to societal pressures, Sigmas value independence above all else. Think of Sigmas like water flowing around rocks in a stream, always moving, adapting, and finding their own path. This fluidity makes them impossible to trap or force into submission. They don't follow the crowd or bend to fit into predefined roles. Instead, they carve out their own unique place in the world by relying on self-reliance, introspection, and quiet confidence. This fierce independence can unsettle those who want to mold others into their vision of how people should be. Because Sigmas refuse to be puppets, they often get labeled as bad guys or rebels. But in reality, they're just people who choose freedom over control and authenticity over conformity. Their resistance isn't about causing trouble, it's about staying true to themselves, no matter the cost. This is why Sigmas often inspire others, even if misunderstood along the way. So, Sigmas, here's a little truth bomb for you. If people can't stand you, it often means you're hitting on something real. Why? Because by living your authentic life, breaking molds, shaking up comfort zones, and shining bright with your independence and calm confidence, you naturally challenge the status quo. It's human nature to resist change or anything that threatens their comfort bubble. That resistance? It's a sign you're powerful. The Sigma male lifestyle is about refusing to conform just to please others. Instead, it's about carving your own path with purpose and strength. Psychologists note that individuals who exhibit strong self-reliance and independence tend to inspire others, but also provoke envy or discomfort because they represent freedom many secretly desire but fear. So how do you flip this into your advantage? Own your difference. Celebrate that you don't fit into the usual boxes. That's your unique edge. Don't chase approval. Your worth comes from within, not from likes or followers. Be honest but kind. Integrity always commands respect. Keep a little mystery. Not everyone needs to know your whole story, and this fuels your magnetic aura. Stay calm amid chaos. Your peace is your power. And finally, protect your freedom fiercely. Never let anyone clip your wings. Remember, being Sigma is about authentic strength and self-mastery. The discomfort you cause in others, it's a sign you're on the right track. Stay true and keep shining your quiet, powerful light. Sigmas, ever felt like you were wired differently and liked it that way? You're not imagining things. Sigma males are often misunderstood because they operate outside traditional hierarchies. They're lone wolves, but not by accident, by design. What looks weird on the surface is often deeply intentional. Let's break it down. Why do Sigma males seem like they're living by an invisible playbook no one else can read? Because they are. They prioritize autonomy, mastery, and purpose over approval. While alpha males lead and betas follow, Sigmas rewrite the entire game. Today, we're diving into 8 weird habits all Sigma males have and why they work. For example, Sigmas often ghost social scenes, not because they're antisocial, but because they guard their energy like gold. Studies in psychology confirm that introverts recharge alone, and Sigma males take this to an art form. Another habit? Hyper-observation. While most people talk to be heard, Sigmas watch to understand. This habit gives them an almost eerie ability to read a room or sense motives, aligning with high emotional intelligence traits backed by research. Even their weird routines, like midnight walks or solo travel, are actually strategies for creative thinking and personal growth. Neuroscience tells us that solitude boosts problem solving and deep thought. So these aren't just quirks. These are power moves hidden in plain sight. Every habit, every move has a purpose behind it. If you've ever wondered why Sigmas walk the path less traveled, now you know it's not just different, it's deliberate. Welcome to the breakdown, Sigmas. Let's get weird, but wisely. Number 1, talking to themselves and actually answering back. You might walk past a Sigma male and hear him murmuring to himself. No, he's not losing his grip on reality, he's mastering it. Talking to oneself might look odd to the untrained eye, but for Sigma males, it's a deliberate tool for mental clarity. This habit, often mistaken for eccentricity, is actually rooted in neuroscience. Studies from institutions like the University of Michigan and Bangor University have shown that self-directed speech, especially when done aloud, can significantly improve focus, memory retention, and problem solving. When Sigmas talk to themselves, they're essentially conducting a mental audit. Unlike extroverts who process thoughts by discussing them with others, Sigma males turn inward. Their minds are like strategy rooms where self-talk becomes the whiteboard for mapping out ideas, weighing options, and rehearsing crucial conversations. Whether it's figuring out a life choice or preparing for a tough discussion, a Sigma might whisper through scenarios. Playing both sides like a one-man chess game, this behavior is not new. Even Albert Einstein admitted he often talked to himself, claiming it helped him clarify his thoughts. The practice of verbal self-guidance has also been shown to help regulate emotions and enhance self-control, key traits that align with the calm, calculated nature of the Sigma archetype. So while society might label this as weird, Sigma males embrace it as a form of mental discipline. It's the equivalent of mental push-ups, sharpening their inner dialogue to stay aligned with their goals and values. Next time you find yourself deep in conversation with yourself, don't feel awkward. You're not losing your mind, you're tuning into it. You're not overthinking, you're refining your thought process. You're not being odd, you're being Sigma. In a world addicted to external noise, the Sigma male's inner dialogue is a superpower, quiet, intentional, and powerful. Number 2, disappearing for days. No calls, no texts, just ghost mode. Let's break this down and turn it into something both educational and engaging. Ever heard the phrase going ghost? It's not just a pop culture quip, it's practically a Sigma male trademark. While others might see disappearing acts as rude or mysterious, for the Sigma male, vanishing is a deliberate strategy. It's not about avoiding people, it's about returning to center. Sigma males value solitude like a desert values rain, absolutely essential. Psychologically speaking, individuals with high levels of introversion and autonomy, traits often associated with the Sigma archetype, gain energy from solitude rather than social interaction. This is supported by research in personality psychology, particularly the Big Five personality model, where introversion and openness often correlate with a strong need for deep thinking and personal space. So when a Sigma male suddenly dips out of a group chat, skips the weekend get-together, or seems to vanish from social media, it's not drama, it's design. Alone time is when they strategize, recalibrate, and sharpen their goals. They might be journaling, reading, training, or just thinking deeply, building mental muscles that don't grow in noisy rooms. Society often glorifies constant connection, notifications, messages, meetings. But Sigma males rebel against this overstimulation. They prefer to disconnect to reconnect, stepping away so they can show up stronger, clearer, and more aligned with their purpose. And here's what makes it fascinating. Every time a Sigma returns from a self-imposed exile, they bring back something new, a refined idea, renewed motivation, or a sharper sense of self. It's like a mental detox retreat, except it happens without fanfare. So next time a Sigma goes ghost, don't interpret it as coldness. It's actually a